video rolling? Yes, we know, lady. In three, two, one. You're live.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. Dr. D, you earned your salary today as a
Oh
sound
man, I'll
engineer.
tell you.
I hope this is coming in clear and beautiful for our guest, our
It
beautiful
is.
vocalist, Denise Donatelli is our special guest today on the show. The new album,
Jeremiah.
yeah. Oh, I thought you were stopping me. I'm so used to mispronouncing everything that I thought maybe I mispronounced your name.
I think you got it right.
I, yes.
Just saying hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. So good to have you. The new album is Whistling in the Dark, and we're playing the album. It's not released till tomorrow, but you get to hear it one day early. Whistling in the Dark.
Clips, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Little clips.
we'll play. Can you name this song?
Really upset when when things sneak out.
Can you name that song in three notes?
well, you might be able to. These are great songs. Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. Yes, so Denise Donatelli, our special guest. So good to have you here. The album is produced by Larry Klein, and it's released by Savant Records. And there's a tag, I guess, on that. High Note Records.
Yeah, High Note. It actually started out as High Note, and then they added another level, different types of musicians, recording artists. So it's High Note Savant. They refer to them,
Uh,
but this is on Savant. Prepared.
you can find it anywhere, right? I mean, the second single is out right now. You could get that, listen to that right away. The Look of Love.
Where you can download that.
Yeah. And tomorrow, though, everywhere we can get this album, yes?
Correct.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
August
yeah.
27th. Well, let me do an introduction here of our special guest. Denise Donatelli is a Grammy nominated vocalist, and as she said, high note savant recording artist. She's a three-time Grammy nominee for the Best Jazz Vocal Album. Her new album, once again, and I'm going to repeat this throughout the show because I want you to listen to. You're going to hear it on the show. You're going to hear a lot of snippets of the music of this album, but go check out the album. Go buy the album and put it on your playlist. Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. Release date August 27th. So critic Nick Mondello says, Donatelli is a rhapsody, a tale-teller, an artist of the highest order. She has always been a singer of vocalized intimacy. Here, as is her trademark, she's being intimate with our ear and ensuingly our hearts via the poetry she delivers. Her diction and her pitch are pure, and her phrasing is almost instrumental. She carries her lines to the end where, based on the lyric, they either wring out every drop of emotional juice or just plain ring out. In terms of vocal and production excellence, this take provides, as all great art should, an intelligent, involving, emotion-delivering perspective. Knowing Bacharach, he will assuredly raise a goblet and drink up. And that's all about jazz critic Nick Mondello. Congratulations on the album, Denise. It's
Thank you
so
so much.
so beautiful.
When I read that, I kind of blushed. Actually, just hearing you read it, it's really effusive, and I love it.
Well, every word
I
is
love
true.
I love Nick. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's got a lot of hard work went into this album and trying circumstances as well, because I know you changed producers, a longtime producer.
Oh,
Uh,
Jeffrey Freezer. Yeah.
yeah, and then you recorded it over COVID, and I want to ask a little bit about that. But first, I wanted if we could talk about your childhood a little bit, because you grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I've always never been there, but I've always loved it because of the famous is Billy Joel, right? Is it Billy Joel that sings the song? What is it like growing up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as a little girl, and discovering music?
Well, we were not in the city proper. I was bused into school. We had a home way out in the country, and we had view of the mountains, which was what my mother always wanted. And but it was isolating. We had a pony farm across the street, and that was it. I didn't have a neighborhood of friends or kids to play with, and I had two older sisters, and my oldest sister also played the piano. I mean, we were concert pianists, believe it or not. Um, my sister loved jazz, and my mother used to be a singer back in New York before she married my dad, and my grandfather really did not approve of that. You know, he was old school Italian, and my uncles would like sneak her out of the house and take her to the radio station where she would sing a little bit, and then she married my dad, and that was it. You know, she didn't have a career in singing, but we collected the best music. And my sister belonged to the Capitol Music Club, and back then they would just send out, if you select your genre, you know, they'll bombard you with music, and thankfully they did. And it was a treat going to the mailbox.
Was it like the clubs where you send in a penny and then you get an album? Not that one. No, it's a different club.
No, no, kind of. But no, they just, we collected quite a library of great jazz music. And my mother was a Frank Sinatra fan, so we had every single one of his recordings. So
Uh,
that's what I did in my spare time. You know, when I would finish practicing the piano, um, I would just listen. I'd sit on the floor next to the stereo and just play all this music and sing along. And Sarah Vaughan, Nancy Wilson, Carmen McRae. So I guess that's where I started getting the feel for phrasing and timing and all of that. So
hmm.
yeah. What was your question?
Yeah, you did. No, did it
I
come?
digress all the time.
We're here to hear the story, so that's
Oh,
exactly that. You answered my, and even if you don't answer my question, I'm going to love the answer. So just know that about me. I love it. I love stories. I just think I imagine the town. I imagine now being out of the country and listening to this music and connecting with it. Uh, Tell me about why Dionne Warwick's song "Walk On By." Why was that special, or how is that special now?
I don't know what year that was. I don't know. Either I was 12 or 11 and when it came out, and I loved it because at that age, I mean, I was still listening to all this jazz, but the R&B aspect of it, I loved R&B.
Mhm.
And, it just loved it. I would sing along with it, another song to sing along with. But yeah, so
Did you
I connected with it.
you had a lot of albums? You had a large album collection with your mom, but
Oh,
did
yeah.
you was there a radio station, or was there how other ways, what other ways would you listen to
Philly.
radio and or to music?
Yeah, it was Philly stations, and I would listen to all the art. Then there was Stevie Wonder, and then the Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and so I listened to all that R&B stuff, which I still love. And it's really interesting. I really didn't get into a lot of the rock groups, or you know.
Not a Bon Jovi fan out there in New Jersey or Pennsylvania?
I knew, of course, you couldn't escape hearing. Yeah, but no, it wasn't my preference. It was always the
Yeah.
Philly sound, the R&B sound.
I was thinking about you on the day when I was, putting thoughts together for the interview, and this morning having a cup of coffee, and I was thinking, listening to the music, and I thought about how our parents, I mean, the way music is introduced to each one of us is typically through our parents,
Hmm.
right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's the music that our parents have on back then, the record player, and
Yeah.
maybe even now.
Yeah.
Um, and
Hmm.
and it kind of imprints on you, and you like it because they like it and they're happy, and then if eventually music finds you individually and specifically, and
You
you
rebel a little
relate,
bit.
yeah, or
Yeah.
you relate to something, right? And then how did jazz find you, and why jazz? How did that music genre
Probably
find
because
you?
of
Really?
my older sister in the Capitol Music Club.
Hmm.
You know, when you like I said, when you check jazz, which I'm sure it was her choice, and
What I guess I meant to ask is why did that reach you so? Why did that one relate to you, where you've made it now your life and music,
well,
and you've
well,
you've added to
I you know
those catalogs that people
makes
listen
you
to?
feel good. There was just something. It just makes you feel good. You
Right.
know, I never really got into country music or any. I mean, maybe the complexity of it. I mean, I grew up. I started taking classical piano lessons at 3. I started plunking out music on the piano, and my mother took me to a piano teacher that my sister was already taking lessons from, as well as Keith Jarrett. He was taking, because he's from Allentown as well. Um, but he said to my mother, well, she's too young. Um, but give me an hour with her, and maybe I'll see, if we can do something here. So I guess he must have liked what I, thought I could be taught at that age, and I took lessons for almost 17 years.
Hmm.
And I just, it was the stage fright that absolutely killed me.
Mm.
And, there's no improv in playing classical music. I mean, you either memorize it, but if you get a block, you're through. And I just liked jazz and R&B music so much more. So my heart wasn't into it, and you know, so that. Maybe that was why I wanted to get into jazz. It just seems so free and so fun.
Yeah, it does. Jazz is freeing, isn't
Mhm.
it? Or you can take it in so many different directions and so many different moments.
Oh yeah.
Do you still get stage fright? You're such a acclaimed, just
Um. y-
well-known
Yeah.
artist.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I. It's. I don't know. I don't ever want to take performing for granted.
Hmm.
So let's put it that
Mm.
way.
Yeah.
And if you get too comfortable, and then you just, I don't know. It's just, I'm working it out. Let's put it that way, Jeremiah.
Well, you're playing at Birdland. Our good friend Johnny Valente. You're
Oh
playing
my
at
God.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I need a date.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't have a date there. I thought you were playing. Well, Johnny, he's listening. He'll get you. He'll book you.
Yeah. He said to me, he said, the last time I was there, um, well, can't even remember anymore with COVID, it's
Yeah.
been, we were there for there was a jazz convention that we went to, and um, so of course everybody's there, everybody's playing for all the radio people, and so we went to see John Beasley at Birdland,
Mm.
and that's when Johnny got me, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "Come," he said, "Come see me. I'll give you a date." So when we left, he said, I'll be back here. So I went looking for him and I couldn't find him. So, but I'll call him.
We
And
should
then
call him
COVID
while
hit.
we're on right now. We'll get that date locked down so we can promote it. Let's get Johnny on.
Yeah, Johnny.
Well,
Oh,
speaking of COVID, speaking of this album, so your previous recordings were produced and arranged by just an outstanding, great pianist, Jeffrey Keyser. Arrangements
oh yeah.
in that most of your work really full, really. I mean, it's been described that way, and and I think that's a really fair description. But then you switched,
Oh,
yeah, you switched to a new producer during, for the new album,
hmm.
Larry Klein. He's a
Right.
four-time, for those who may not know, four-time Grammy winner. Best known for his work with Joni Mitchell, Herbie Hancock, and he's just got a list that goes on and on. And so you switched to him, and it was also at the time of the pandemic and COVID, and a new way of putting together this album. I mean, that was all remote. And can you tell us a little bit about making that decision?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, let's see. Jeffrey was living in San Diego,
mm,
and it was a no-brainer to record with him. And he was, we were really close friends. I would babysit for his son, and and then he moved. He moved. He's in upstate New York. He's in New York,
mm.
and he remarried, and she's also a singer, and it just wasn't. Well, I love the work we've done together. It just wasn't practical since he wasn't nearby, and then especially with COVID. But I had been talking with Larry for a while about doing something with him because I loved his work. I loved his work with female singers. He's married to Luciana Souza, and he's done a lot of work with Melody Gardot and Madeleine
Mm.
Peru. So I felt comfortable with that. You know, it's not to say that I wouldn't hopefully do another recording with Jeffrey. I mean, it was always so much fun, and he's brilliant. He's a brilliant pianist. Um, but it was different with Larry. I mean, it was just a
How is it
different process, completely different. Well, first of all, COVID made it extremely different. But we had been talking about doing different things together in terms of music, and we had a hard time pinpointing what we were going to do. And um, in April of COVID, I mean, we shut down, I guess it was February, March.
different?
But I got an email from him, and he said, "Can I call you?" And I said, "Sure." So we talked. He said, "Hey," he said, "I was on the phone or on a Zoom call with a buddy of mine, and he said, my friend said, 'Hold on, Larry, I got to take this call. It's Burt.'" So then all of a sudden, Larry said, "Whoa, okay." So he called me, and I said, "Sure." I said, "I would love to do that." But then after I said, after I said yeah, then I'm thinking, oh my God, all these songs are so iconic, and the arrangements that Bacharach has done. I mean, they're so ingrained in people's
Yeah.
minds that how in the world are we going to do anything better than anything that How could we even improve on this? Um, and at that point, I didn't know exactly what Larry had in mind in terms of the vibe and the instrumentation, and I really didn't get it. But in fact, I didn't get it until I went into the studio with them. But it was an experience. It really was. And
Did you, sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Did you find that recording during COVID offered you a little bit more space for introspection and like how you wanted to do it? There was less pressure or audience or expectations from others. And of course, with a new producer, did you feel like you wanted to go in any particular different direction? Like you said, you didn't know what the arrangement was going to be like. Did you, was there any kind of feeling you wanted to infuse in it that was new or kind of a new era for you as an artist?
Well, I didn't really know until we got into the studio, and this was the first time that we had recorded like that. And I was, honestly, I mean, Larry kind of intimidated me because he was, you know, when you're working with Joni Mitchell and Lucy, I mean, I honestly, I felt a little intimidated. Um, and when we went into the studio, previously when I recorded with Keezer, or even Tom Garvin, who I did my first album with, they would have all the arrangements. I would have them ahead of time. They'd play on the piano, and I'd have time to rehearse, and you know. But with Larry, this was old school recording. This was just like the old rock bands that would rent the studio for a month and just try to try to come up with something, and you know, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we had the chord charts in my key. I mean, just basic chord charts, but I had no idea what the vibe or the feel was going to be like. So, yeah, it was different.
Well, I
don't
want
know how
to
to
talk
answer
about
the
how.
question.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Denise.
No, I was asking Hunter if that's what,
Yeah,
if I answered.
absolutely. Well, it sounded like it kind of, you were able to capture more of a live jazz experience, which is
Yeah.
probably contributed so much to it because it was less like your experience with classical where like everything's all set up, and it was more, you probably had more fun with it and just like doing as many vocal takes as you needed and just trying out new things. Like it makes me wonder what your live shows compared to the recording experience would be like for you. Did you find you had more fun this time?
Where in the studio?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I was all by myself. The guys were all in another room. Everybody was masked, and
Oh, okay.
I was communicating via the speaker. So, you know, and then and due to COVID, you know, when we would get together in the studio, I mean, when for playback, you know, everybody was kind of spaced, and you know, we knew so little about COVID by then.
Mm-hmm.
So we were really careful and, you know, and kind of, yeah, but yeah, it was, I think the album reflects that whole vibiness of it and solemnness of it. Of course, you know, Burt's songs are very heart-wrenching and sad. You know, we picked a lot of sad songs.
I like sad songs.
A lot of great ones. Yeah.
I like to feel moody. Well, we've got to take a real quick break, but we're going to come right back with Denise Donatelli, her new album out tomorrow, August 27th. Probably by the time you hear this, it's out. So there are no excuses. You want this music in your library. Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. And go to DeniseDonatelli.com. I'll spell the last name for you just in case you need that. DONATELLI. DeniseDonatelli.com. We'll be right back after this quick break.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're with Denise Donatelli. Her new album is Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach, out August 27th. Welcome back, Denise. We're talking before the break about the collaboration with your new producer and what it's like to make a really full album like this, a really beautiful album in the time of COVID. I mean, almost sounds like a book title, doesn't it? In the time of COVID, me making music in the time of COVID. I wanted my question, I guess, not being a musician, an artist that's in a recording studio a lot, like you are, Hunter. Richard, you're in a sound studio a lot.
I spend a lot of time in the studio producing, yes, but not music per se. Although
you
this
say
program,
sometimes my voice sounds like music to your
it
ears.
does, yes, it absolutely does. You know, and we do a lot of lying on this
I
program.
put a
So
lot of words in Richard's mouth for him, don't I?
no, we have a lot. See, that's the beautiful thing about it being in studio is no matter what you're creating, that you know, when you're in that creative mode, and I know Denise and as well as you, Hunter, Jeremiah and I, that's what this program is about. That's what you do is you create, even though you've got the words and the music in front of you still. And I love what you said earlier about the comparison between classical music performed versus jazz. Improv. We're all improving. We're all ad-libbing. You know, they use that as a term in broadcasting, to ad-lib. But we do that anyway. So how is it possible that anybody couldn't? You know, that kind of thing. So I love the improv aspect.
What is it with thank you, Richard.
Yes. You're welcome.
That very astute comment.
Continue.
I wonder what though it's like in a studio as a vocalist when you've got everybody behind glass. Isn't that usually how it is though? I mean, did it take anything away aside from just being scared and social, everybody's distance when they come out? Maybe it's not as much of a hangout, in
A
between.
communal space. Yeah, you're
Communal
only
thing.
connected through the music and through your voice.
That was kind of my question. Is it better because you have that is your communication through music solely almost?
It's a unique situation.
Yeah.
It's gonna create something.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think it created a unique?
I can't see them. I can only hear. I was in a closet somewhere, and it actually was. There were file cabinets in it. We recorded at the famous Village Studios in Santa Monica, and yeah,
Isn't
and
that where Fleetwood Mac?
yeah.
Yeah, isn't that where they all got in trouble at Fleetwood Mac together? I saw a documentary on Netflix. It was pretty good. Uh,
Right.
well, how does it feel
Oh,
to record in a place
yeah,
like that?
silly to him. Um, it was well, like I said, they had a very large room where Larry wanted to be in. He needed to be in with the guys to work with them and give them some direction on what he was thinking. And um, and I was I was off somewhere in another studio, closet like studio, but so I didn't see them. I
Mm.
couldn't see them. I could hear, and I could give my 2 cents if I wanted to, or if I felt the need to. But it was an interesting process. It was very very somber. There wasn't a whole lot of joking around, you know.
Do you
And
feel
which
like
I thought was unusual for Larry Goldings is so funny. He is just hilarious. But I think the COVID and um, just the overall vibe of the music it was very somber. I thought, you know, it wasn't like that all the time. I mean, we would come out and listen, and
well, you went into the project with, as you've said here, doubts. You're thinking, what else could I do? What else could we bring? These songs are so well known and they're so iconic. What do you feel like now that that it's finished and available tomorrow, August 27th? Do you feel that you accomplished something
I
new
do.
and original?
I
Are you
do.
happy?
Just very different, and I am very happy. Yes,
Mm.
I'm very pleased. Um, I think it's cool, you know.
It definitely is cool.
Cool.
It's fun to finish a project, isn't it? And to listen to it. And I would ask you, are you moved by when you listen to the finished product? Does it move you maybe the way that someone else, might listen to it?
Initially, I was, yeah, but after after listening to it a couple of times after that. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe a house is not a home, or
Oh, I love that song. Oh my gosh.
and I had really had some trepidation about doing that because Luther Vandross
Oh, of course.
had oh my God, you know. And I said to Larry, how am I,
Intimidating.
really? You want to do this? Really? And it was, it's pretty. I mean, it came out beautifully.
It
I
sounds
think
like
it's
Larry
just,
pushed you to where sometimes you were uncomfortable. You created really great art from it,
Yeah,
really great music.
yeah.
he did.
We're going to take another break real quick. I think this is last.
Nope,
Oh,
one
no,
more.
we got one more. I'm always trying to get rid of those breaks. Denise, we had a writer in earlier today, a novelist, and his book is called The Nowist, and it's all about living in the now. And one of the chapters is connection. It's about the connections that we look for. We try to, cultivate in
Foster.
our lives. Yeah, and look, we're all searching for that, and we're better when we have connection. And Leonardo da Vinci has a quote in his book. He says, "Learn how to see and realize that everything connects to everything else." Now, taking that and that quote into your music, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Do you see now that you're building this great body of work, and you go back to the girl in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and discovering music? Do you see how is it coming together? Does that quote fit for your music and how you're
It does. It's almost, yeah, it does.
connection?
I think every step that I had taken, I mean, I started singing in Atlanta, and it wasn't by choice either. That's another story. But I got dragged up on stage by this piano pianist. Oh God, and I was horrified. I had such terrific stage fright. And it was a jazz jam in Atlanta where I was living and working. I turned out to be a single mom there, and um, he just he just wanted me to sing, and because he had heard me in private, he went to a karaoke bar and he heard me sing, and even karaoke, the place was empty, and I was just horrified. I was so shocked, and I think singing is harder than actually playing an instrument.
It's
I
so
really
vulnerable.
do. It is. It's just, you have no idea what's going to come out of your mouth at any time. I mean, that you're not working with a piano where you press a note and
Yes.
it comes out unless it's out of tune. But, you know,
I kind of know what's
it's,
going to come out if I try to sing.
I will tell you that even as a kid in high school, in a group, I didn't want to sing too loud because I didn't want to stand out. And if I hit the wrong note, even if I hit the right note,
Oh,
although
Dr. D.
I will tell
Little
you,
Dr. D.
I had a very interesting experience we have a bakery here and restaurant called Janine's. Stopped in there on our way in to get a couple of pastries, and I was just humming to myself, right? And the woman in front of me was looking around, and she said, "Is that you?" And I said, "What?" The humming. I said, "Oh, yeah." She said, "Oh, that's really nice."
Oh.
And
oh,
I thought, "Wow, okay, thank you very much." I mean, it was only for me because it made me feel good. And there I was, this woman. She says, "Oh, that's really nice." And then as she's leaving, "Well, thank you." Well, you're welcome.
Great.
I'll be performing here every.
That's right. Every morning at 7:30.
I love that though story. That just, I mean, it shows someone like you, Grammy nominated, beautiful, great body of work. Uh, Hunter, all of us, we all want that connection,
Yeah.
and a lot of times the fears are our own, right?
Yes.
And that, um,
right.
but I really can't sing. That's true. That's a true story. But it's just there is a connection, and we got to take the last break.
The last one.
The last break. Now it's the last break. I'm going to take you to break with one more quote from this book. Music is the purest form of art. Therefore, true poets, they who are seers, seek to express the universe in terms of music. Seers, excuse me. I've got bad glasses. They're doing their bad. The singer has everything within him. The notes come out from his very life. They are not materials gathered from outside.
And you're talking about the gentleman whose name shall be uttered, and it is. Now I'm going to have trouble with this one, and I said it before. Tagore, Rabindranath.
There you
Tagore.
go. You got it.
Rabindranath
I've tried it. I
Tagore.
can't get it. Anyway, I think that's true. That's the truth.
Wow.
Yeah,
Or true. It's a nice quote.
it is.
That's a beautiful quote.
Got good stuff there.
Okay, we will be right back with Denise Donatelli. Go to denisedonatelli.com. The new album out tomorrow, Whistling in the Dark. The music of Burt Bacharach. We'll be right back.
All right, we're clear.
Cool. Okay, we're almost at 4 o'clock. What do we got? One more small section?
We got one more break, and
Denise, is there anything that you would like to talk about? I mean, I've got all your notes and stuff from Cheryl, but is there anything that you would really like to mention here on the radio?
Well,
Besides
I've
the
got
album
a,
and-
I've got a live stream coming up September 16th. We're
Yeah,
going to
let's
do
do
it right
that.
here in the house
Okay.
for the LA Jazz Society.
Oh, great.
So-
And then in October, I've got something at Vibrato.
Okay,
Here's-
let's
here's-
mention those. I'll bring it back. I'll ask you what you're doing next.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the album, but
and here's what I'm going to suggest we do. Let's just do that in this segment, and we'll take another quick break. Okay?
oh, I thought we're
No,
almost done.
No, we still
You,
have.
you want me to mention something about Birdland?
You dragged it
About
along.
Birdland.
oh yes, please, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're talking with Denise Donatelli. Her new album is out tomorrow. Might as well be today. Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. I actually set my timer, so it's how many minutes? It's I got a timer when this thing's released. Actually, we're playing Whistling in the Dark in its entirety at the end here, the
Yeah.
single. And so stay with it. Yeah, stay for that. That's great. And we're getting a sneak preview. So we actually already have the album.
That's right.
Not
And it's
an-
not a bootleg
not an
version that we
honor.
recorded off some speaker
No,
somewhere.
Denise kindly shared it with us. And
Thank you, Denise.
We're sharing it with you. It's just beautiful, Denise. Welcome back to the show. So nice to have you. You're so busy right now. And how? By the way, how do things look as far as live performances for you? And everything with COVID?
Well, I have a Zoom actually stream of September 16th for the LA Jazz Society, and then in October I have something at Vibrato, which will probably be my CD release performance. So.
And where is
I can't
that?
remember the date. I think it's Vibrato is in. Yeah, it's considered Los Angeles. It's considered maybe it's over the hill, Sherman Oaks. I think it's considered LA. It's a beautiful club. Anyhow, yeah. I mean.
And the live stream, the live stream is which
Yeah,
date?
live stream is going to be done right here in Club Donatelli. So
Oh, I like that.
Looks like a pretty nice club there.
Yeah.
At Club Donatelli, have you performed anywhere live since before COVID?
I have. Not before. In fact,
Or I
in
mean,
May,
since?
I was in May. I was in Naples, Florida, of all places, Florida. But it was a beautiful and very safe environment. I performed with the LA Jazz Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Where can I tune in to the live stream? Is there like a link or your website?
It's at the LA Jazz Society. I think they should have.
On their website?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be fun.
Denise, your husband, I know, works in the entertainment business as well. Can you tell me a little bit about the work that he does? He's pretty well known in his own right.
Yes, Robbie Davis. He has his company is called DG Entertainment, and his company, they do promos for PBS, for all kinds of promos. In fact, that's how I met him. I was working during the day at Turner Broadcasting, and of course I was singing at night at the Ritz-Carlton. But I met him because our department, our marketing department, hired his company to do our promos. So and I came out here for a meeting, and Don LaFontaine, who was that big in the world, that big voice,
Oh my gosh, yes.
he was, yeah, he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But he was recording all of my promos for me because I wanted one voice. So while I was out here, uh, his staff took us all out to dinner, and he popped in, and that's how we met. But yeah, he does promos for PBS, and let's see, I wrote down a lot of this stuff. He's doing, he did the Hemingway documentary. He did the PBS. He does reels and corporate videos and voiceovers, lots of voiceovers. Dennis Haysbert, the actor who does the Allstate commercials, the real deep voice.
Yeah.
He was just in the office today.
He was,
in the
wasn't he
studio.
on 24? Wasn't he the president or something on, I love that. I loved him on that show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He's been doing it for a long time. So,
I have a question for you, Denise. I'm a young singer. I love jazz. Your story really touches me, and those exact influences, and loving the live aspect of it. I'm wondering if you have any advice for young performers like me that that are also recording but love to do live things as well, and are just kind of starting out, limited budget, that kind of thing, or touring. Anything that you would have to say?
Do you have a
well,
training manual?
Yeah, exactly. Can you give me the book? Tell me how to do everything.
Buy the book.
well, I would. Are you working at all? Are you
I
singing
am.
at all?
Yeah, so I just came out with my first EP, also recorded during COVID, so I feel very connected to your story. um, and I perform live. I do driveway concerts where I actually do jazz as well. Jazz is my first love as well.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like you're on your way. You've got a website.
Mhm.
I mean, it's all marketing materials
Yes,
really important, and you really
right,
need to be out there and marketing yourself.
right.
And which I'm not that great at, but
I know. I'd say that's the part I have to work at for sure.
We all do.
I know. That's why we hire people. We
Yes,
hire
exactly.
PR.
I can't wait for the day to just hire someone.
I know. Um, let's see. You
Finding
said
gigs or
Were there
this is
ever times that you thought maybe not, like where you were at Hunter's, when you were at Hunter's stage, where you thought, oh, I want to give up, or maybe this is going to be too hard, or the business is too hard. That's kind of what you're talking about, right?
yeah, like how did
like
you know to keep going?
keep
How did you
going
know that this was the right thing for you, especially with your family history with your mom? Like I imagine some of the stage fright probably came from the overlap of shame that she may have felt for going against her father's wishes. Do you feel like
that could be. No, she was very encouraging.
okay,
Um, she was very, very encouraging, very proud. But
mm,
I started late actually. I think I was in my late 30s,
oh wow,
and and I was in yeah. I had there was the boyfriend of mine that pushed me up and
right,
took me to karaoke, and he
so
was a
perfect,
pianist, so
right.
he really helped me a lot. And
So after that, did you?
after
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
After that, did you find you wanted to continue? Like, how did you go out and find places to perform after that? Did you do like open mics, or did you have someone who wanted to perform with you? How did you put yourself out there?
When I first came here, when I came out to LA, well, let me backtrack. Atlanta was easy because my boyfriend at the time had a steady gig and I was singing with him. And then from there, after he pushed me, the director of the Ritz-Carlton was there at this jazz jam. Oh, I forgot to mention Russell Malone, who's guitarist for Diana Krall. He was on stage, and the place was packed, and he pushed me up there to perform.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But what came out of that was the next day I got a call from the director at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. And his singer was going on the road with Lyle Lovett, so he was looking for someone, and he wanted to know if I would come down and kind of, I don't know, audition or perform, sing with them that night. So I did, and that lasted for 5 years. So the opportunities for me, I mean, I'm very, very grateful. I mean, they just kind of fell into my lap.
Wow.
When I came out here, I did a promo for my husband for Frasier. And get this. So they wanted somebody to sing cute. And it all came from his creative director, who belonged to the same tennis facility as Neil Hefti. So Neil Hefti was invited to the to the recording when I was singing cute, and I had just gotten in, and I got to talk to Neil, and I said, I said, where does anybody sing around here? And I said, what do you do? How do you do this? I mean, so he gave me a couple of names and a couple of places to call, and I called, and
Just ask the right people, the right questions, and it'll.
Exactly.
Never give up.
Yeah. If there's anything I just feel free to. I'll give you my number.
Please. I really want to pick your brain.
Well, Denise, thank you so much for your time today. Love the album. And
thank you so much.
thank you. No, thank you. I love it. And we're actually going to play right now Denise Donatelli off the new album, Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. We're going to play Whistling in the Dark. Here it is. We've kept you waiting. Now listen to this and then go get the album. Denise, you're a pleasure to talk to. Love talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody out there, have a great week. Enjoy the song, enjoy the music, enjoy Denise Donatelli's new album, and listen more and evolve. Talk to you next week.
Okay, you're clear. Now, Denise, I want to get from you a soundbite if I can. Can I?
I'm so sorry.
What were you holding up? I couldn't see.
Birdland.
Oh,
No.
well, we can do that right now. You were going to promote a tag for Birdland, right?
It's just, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, we can do it right now. Richard, well, I'll let Richard walk you through it. We're going to get a radio drop promo for you so we can continue to promote the album.
Right. We want to do that. And so what we want you to do is introduce yourself, talk about your album. Obviously, you can mention Birdland, and then tag out with, and you're listening to the Jeremiah Show. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And I will count you down. All right?
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Denise Donatelli, and I'm thrilled to announce the release of my brand new album, Whistling in the Dark, the music of Burt Bacharach. And I want to thank Jeremiah Higgins for having me on the show. And I do want to make one more comment. I had heard that Birdland might be opening up in Santa Barbara, and I'm ecstatic about that. Birdland, New York City has always been a staple for our jazz community of performers and for our devoted audiences. So I look forward to bringing that incredible vibe to the West Coast.
And you're listening to the Jeremiah Show. 3, 2, 1. I need you to say, and you're listening to the Jeremiah Show.
You kind of did. We're just shamelessly plugging ourselves, Denise.
One more time. Just give me the, and you're listening to the Jeremiah Show. In 3, 2, 1.
And you're listening to the Jeremiah Show.
Thank you very much.